Feel Good Talk. Our focus is on mind, body, soul, and business. You are now tuning into Let's Talk About It with your girl Izzy Meditates and your girl Kendra Moore.
What's up? Woo-hoo. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Thursday is always my Friday, so I'm hyped.
Favorite day of the week.
Yes, ma'am.
Get to be here with you guys.
I am excited today. I am so happy to have our special guest. Our special guest today is Angela Nicole. She is an influencer. Hi, Queen. How are you today?
Hi.
So happy to see everybody here. How was your week? How'd everything go this week?
We'll start with you because you had an exciting week.
So I call myself an educator without a classroom because for much of my career, at least on the second half, I've been traveling from DC across the country to other states to train teachers. And so now I say I'm an educator that is grounded because I am now in Vegas on assignment for 3 years. So I have packed up, shipped my car, shipped things, and flew out here. And I just moved into my apartment today.
Wow. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Wow. 3 years. Oh my goodness. So did you know about this like ahead of time or you just kind of like?
So how it worked, I've been with my company for a minute and I was really trying to find something that was more permanent because I was part-time with them.
Yeah.
And my boss, he is a good guy. He was trying to figure out and find ways to get me on board. And with COVID happening, it kind of stalled the hiring process. And so then when schools resumed and people were coming back to schools, that allowed me the business picked up. And so we found a spot that was like, so are you up to moving? And I was like, sure. Where do you want me to go? And I was like, Africa. I'll go to Africa. I was being really extreme and dramatic with it. And he was like, well, how about Vegas? I said, but of course.
Yeah.
And so it took 3 months for us to finalize things and get me here. But yeah I'm excited.
Yes,
and where did you move from? Tell the people where you moved from.
Where am I from? DC.
DC. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's a big change, but so exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You're not going to have the weather like the winter. You left just in time.
Right. So it's cool here. It's about 80 degrees, but it's chill. It's not 80 and like massively hot and that oppressive heat. Now Vegas does get hot.
Yeah.
I was here over the summer where I thought I was going to die.
That is awesome.
So we are excited to have you here. And my first question to you, well, before we even get into my questions, because I have lots of questions, is I want you to introduce yourself, to tell us a bit about yourself to our community.
Okay. Well, my name is Angela Nicole. That is my first and middle name. And I have gone by Angie. I've gone by Angela. But in the latter years, I have embraced the name Angela Nicole. I believe that it takes on the new persona, the new image, the new awareness and understanding of who I am as a person, as a mother, as a woman, as a sister, as a friend. Right. So my calling has always been in education. So I've been a teacher. I am a mother of a grown and married son. So he is living his life. And he said to me, Mom, it's time for you to live your life. And I said, what does that mean? Because for so much of I had him when I was young. I was 17 years old. So I was a senior in high school. So much of my growing up years, I was a mother. So I was his identity. And prior to that, I was my mother's identity. And so in between 17 and I am now just turning 50, I just was living, right? And my best friend would say that I was living an unconscious life, meaning I was just going through the motions, going to work, coming home, hanging out, having.
There you go.
All right. Are you there?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, there we go. Just being unconscious.
Yeah.
And then I had an awakening. And so that happened probably around 47, I had like a life change, a midlife crisis, a major heartbreak that just really forced me to look inward and figure out, Angela, who are you? Like, really, who are you? What is it you want? And so that has been my journey these past couple of years. And in between there, I've been teaching and coaching and traveling the country, helping other teachers get better at their teaching practice so that our students can learn better and quicker.
Wow. I absolutely love the fact that you changed your name to
So
reflect.
I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me, Izzy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Let me try
Do I have
this.
to go back out again?
You might.
Yeah, you can try to go back in and come back out because I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go out and come back in?
Okay.
Go back in. Come
Sorry,
back in.
That's okay. So, but while
look at she doesn't look a day over 50.
Girl,
I'm like, what 50
like,
who?
50.
50 where? 50
exactly. I was like, what in the Scooby-Doo is happening here?
Yeah.
I love the fact that she changed her name to match who you are. And I have heard, and I've kind of thought of that myself. I'm like, man, should I? It's just like you chose like Izzy Meditates. And then, one of my best friends, she did the same thing that kind of better reflects who she is. And it's one of those things where I never, you hear us okay?
I can.
Well, I'm talking about how much I love the fact that you changed your name to reflect who you are, because that's like your namesake goes like, it's like a legacy type of thing, right? So when you meet people, that's the thing that you leave behind. Hi, I'm such and such a person. And so when you change your name to kind of match who you are today, to me, it says that you are 100% fully confident with who you are today, that you would take that bold move. And that is like a beautiful, beautiful thing. So Izzy Meditates. One of my other best friends, she changed hers. And I'm like, Izzy calls me Kenny Kendra, but I don't want to adapt that for my
I like that name.
No, I got to think of something, but it's beautiful. I absolutely love that.
But it's catchy though, like Angela Nicole. It just sounds so. You know what I mean? I like Kendra. I don't know what you're talking about. That's my name for you.
It's cute. You should go with it though.
I don't even know what it means. Okay,
it's just we always have. Well, I'm from the city. Everybody has a nickname where I'm from.
Yeah.
Like from the time you exit the birth canal, you are given a name. That child shall be named Kenny Kendra. That's what we're gonna name you.
Well, look, I'm from the country, and you don't want to know what our nicknames are. Okay.
No, I don't.
So, but I absolutely love that. So one of the things that I wanted to point out in your bio, and these are kind of like the topics, and you started talking about it, but I want to touch on self-discovery, self-worth, and financial freedom. So I think you started getting into the self-discovery piece. You had the heartbreak that happened, and then these other things that happened. So tell us a little bit more about that, and then how that, the other things that happened to you that led you to your self-discovery.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back again just a little bit. I think that, they say that there is arrested development at a certain age, right? And so with the birth of my son, perhaps my personal growth and evolved development kind of stopped at that point, because I then shifted from entering into college and doing all the things that a college student would do, to becoming a mother, and a full-time mother at that, and still going to school, right? So I got into that mommy mode. And I know that there are mothers who talk about that they get so involved and engaged in in motherhood that they lose a sense of themselves. And so because I had my son very young, he was grown and out the house while I was still relatively young. But I had missed some of those exploratory years. And so I was existing, really. I was existing. And I don't want to make much of the topic about the heartbreak, but I'm thankful for it. So I met a dude and, fell in love, and then it didn't work. And I was floored. I was devastated by it. But what I realized from that relationship was that I didn't have a sense of myself. Like, he was telling my narrative, and I was like, this doesn't sound like me. Like, this ain't me. This is not me. So it forced me to look and define myself. There was a question that was asked of me, well, what are 5 things that you can say about yourself? And I couldn't come up with 5 things. I could come up with things that other people said about me, but I could not come up with 5 things that if I had to fight you to the death, that I could stand on these 5 things. I couldn't name one. Wow. That was a crime.
Wow.
So, the very first thing that you do, you turn to your Bible. And so I was very much engaged and involved in the church. And I believe that provided the spiritual grounding that I needed in order to begin my healing. But it didn't end with that. There was really 4 different things that I really had to focus on. One was getting out of my own funk, because my girlfriends had enough. Like, I had cried on their shoulders entirely too long. They were like, yeah, we're okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
They're like, yeah, you may want to talk to somebody. Right. So I did find a therapist.
Nice.
She wasn't great, but I had a friend who told me, look, you got to date a couple of therapists in order to find the one that really works for you. Well, I stopped at the first one because I was like, I don't want to keep telling my story over and over again.
Right.
But she was helpful in having an outlet to kind of share what was going on with me. And I needed that. And in being able to talk to somebody who wouldn't get tired of hearing what I had to say,
right,
I heard myself. And I was like, who is this chick? Because I didn't see myself as the victim that I was portraying myself to be.
Mm-hmm.
So even with that, I had to then figure out, I said I was going to stop talking about myself and talking about my woes, because there was other people who had real problems. Mm-hmm. Like, I was mourning the loss of this relationship longer than the actual relationship happened. It was crazy. So I found purpose in doing other things. So I went into a volunteer program where I was volunteering with some students who needed advocacy. And so because I'm an educator, that was a nice, comfortable fit for me. I didn't have to really stretch myself, but I was dealing with people who had real problems, mm-hmm, or serious problems. And then I just started exploring. Like, I wanted to roller skate, so I roller skated. Nice. I wanted to play kickball. I can't catch the ball, but I played kickball for a whole season.
Right.
They didn't ask me to come back to play kickball the second. Clearly catching the ball is very important. I could kick. I couldn't catch that ball.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
So really I started reading more. I started being more active. I started doing all the things that I had pushed aside because I was waiting on the perfect time, or I was waiting on a girlfriend, or I was waiting on a man, or I was waiting to be married, or I was waiting to be single. I checked all that by, not single, slim, skinny. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
But I checked all that to the side, and I said, I'm just going to do it.
Right.
And I learned how to not give a hoot about what people were saying. And the people that I had to initially ignore, if that's the word, was my family.
Yeah.
Because you know they're your toughest critics, and it's always out of love, right? But I had to not be bothered or care about what they thought about how I was living my life.
Right.
And I had to really just be okay with it. I wasn't harming anybody. Nobody was getting injured in the way in which I was living my life, and I had to be okay that was okay, and that was difficult because my mama's opinion mattered.
Right.
And I had to tell her, okay, but I'm doing it anyway.
Right. So I want to touch on a number of things because I was sitting here writing notes. So you talked about the 5 things, and I think that's a great exercise for everybody to do. Like, what are 5 things that you would say about yourself confidently, right? So you can assess whether or not, or you know who you are, as opposed to saying, well, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm an employee of X, Y, and Z company. Like, if you were to strip all of those things away, who are you really, right? So, Angela Nicole, you don't have to tell us all of the 5 things, but what are a couple of the 5 things?
So I said that I am resilient.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I say that I'm resilient, and I start there because I graduated from an all-girls Catholic school with a child. And I went on with a full scholarship to University of Maryland. Now, I may have taken a long time to get out of college, but the point is that I went on to get 2 other degrees. I did not allow the birth of my son, which at that time, in age, like that was uncommon. Like that was a no-no. You were supposed to, go away and have the child and come back and whatever. But I find myself to be resilient, and I think that resiliency is not an extraordinary thing. I actually think it's rather common, and I think that a lot of people have it. It's just a matter of quantifying it. How quickly are you rebounding? But as long as you're still striving towards something better or improving, I still consider that resiliency. And so I think that I am resilient. I've had some setbacks and challenges along the way, but I have not allowed that to stop me from keep desiring to move forward. So I think that I am resilient. I think that I am kind-hearted.
Nice.
No, excuse me. I need to stop saying I think. I am kind-hearted.
Right.
It's a language shift. Words matter, and we really need to watch the language and the words.
Right.
So I said that I think that I'm resilient, that I'm kind-hearted.
Right.
That I am fearless.
Right.
Fearless. I do things even though I'm a bit scared. In fact, it's an adrenaline rush for me. So I've jumped out of planes.
Wow.
Little things, like I'm afraid of heights, but I'm going to do everything height related.
Yeah.
Because I see myself as a victor and not a victim. And so therefore, I have to face those fears or those things that I believe are fears. So that I can smack them in the face and then say, well, Angela, you ain't died from it, so you can do it again.
Yeah, I know that.
So I think that those are my top 3.
I love it. So I want to get some comments.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we got some comments coming in. So let's see those puppies.
Got my glasses on here. We good?
Oh, yeah, so you're reading this.
Charles Brakely says, good evening, ladies. Hi, Charles. How are you? William Bird's in the house. He says, good evening, Feel Good Talk family and guests. Good evening.
Thank you for joining us.
Charles Brakely says, I love the West Coast.
Well, I hope that I love it too.
William Bird said, I love those aha moments. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah, those are the best.
If we could if we can get them younger sometimes, because I feel like I've gotten mine around the same age, but it's good to get them anyways. William Bird says, great description of awakening.
Yes.
And Charles Blakely says, your family can be the worst than friends at times. It's a shame. It's true.
Yeah, but it is out of love. But
you know, but I still like to give them benefit of the doubt that they're just trying to protect you.
Yeah.
Yeah. William Bird said, kickball is pretty serious. My pastor is a player on the 2020 National Championship team. My goodness. They were running up this year. He also was an assistant coach on this year's national championship team. I would love to play kickball like that.
I never knew that was a thing.
William, kickball is serious. I thought it was like our elementary school version.
Right.
Yeah. I just don't like getting hit with the ball. The sound of it hitting me makes me want to fight. I'm good.
Well, I never got hit with the ball.
Did you just hit me with that ball?
I would try to, and then I had nails, and I didn't want to cut my nails, and I didn't want to break my nails, so that probably played a part in why I was ball.
If you have video coverage, please post some on your page. I want to see this.
Right.
Of me playing kickball?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. It's horrible. Me falling. Oh yeah, it's horrible. And I will though.
What do you see? Charles Bucky says the words that you put into your universe comes to fruition. Yes, sir.
Fruition, girl.
So always be mindful of what you speak. Yes, it's so true.
That was one of the things that I really had to focus on. And that's one of the, I call it like the 4 steps, right? But that was one of the steps that I had to really focus on. Reorganizing my thoughts, shifting shifting that the negative thoughts that we have held on to, because they're not applicable. Like, I'm great. I am wonderful. I am all the things because I'm made in the likeness of God, right? So when I had these moments where I thought negatively of myself, I had to learn how to erase it from my mind and then replace it with something else. And so literally, y'all, I had to write stuff down. When I would say I was not lovable or unlovable, I had to say I am loved. I am loved. And then I would have a quote or a Bible scripture that would attach it. And I would have to say that over and over again so that I would speak over myself. One of the things that I would say is that I am powerful with my words. Everything that I have said negatively about myself has occurred. So I used to say to myself, well, you know what? If I am that powerful with negativity, imagine if I spoke positively over my life, my business, my future. I will be winning. And it takes time for that to happen and for it to be second nature, because a lot of times I literally was walking around with sticky notes to say, I am, your heart is sound, your heart is healed.
Right. I think that's really cool. And the negative thoughts can bring us down. Positive thoughts, but what I love is that you do have to put in the work. You know what I mean? If it doesn't come natural to you, like you do, like I think people think one day I'm just gonna wake up and, boom. But it is that self-talk. And Izzy, I think through your meditations, you probably also have tapped into some of that whole, speaking it from your mouth and all that kind of
stuff. And it's a reprogramming kind of thing. Like, I mean, every day it's a fight to say the right things about yourself, about what's going on around you, about your children, to your children, to your family, to your friends. You know what I mean? Like, it's a constant. And like she says, to definitely stop and say, hey, okay, even if I say, you know what, I'm never going to get this, I stop myself right there and say, you know what, I am going to get this. It's going to take time. It may not be today. It may be tomorrow. But, you have to practice, and writing it down is definitely the best way to go. And when you were talking about how, you put everything on the back burner, and it was like, well, I'm going to wait until my friends do it, or I'm going to wait until, my son does this. We do that a lot. And all this waiting, before you know it, like, for me, I turned 40 and I was like, I've been waiting a long time to do this. No, let's just do it. Let's do it. See how it turns out. And I think as you get older, you're like, okay, well, that didn't work out. Okay, well, this did work out. And you just keep on moving. Yeah.
But you know what? When you open yourself to do something, outside of your immediate friend group, you open yourself up to a whole nother network. Right. So I had a group of friends that we were tight, we did stuff, we traveled, we had a good time, we were socialites, we ate, we did things. But then there were things that I wanted to do that they were not interested in. Like, I like to smoke cigars. And there was just little things that I just wanted to do that I didn't have that ride or die who was going to do it with me. So I had to learn how to do it by myself. And so that's how I got into kickball. I went to Iceland with a group of people that I did not know. Yeah. Now, one of my girlfriends ended up joining me, but I signed up originally to go because I was like, I want to go to Iceland. Who wants to go to Iceland? But these people did. So I was like, and I've become friends with them. So I opened myself up to a whole new world. And so I think that when we are waiting on our immediate friends or families or the right circumstance, we deny ourselves life.
Yes.
And life is worth living.
Right. So, and think about how many times have you just gone on and done it and succeeded? And then the times that you waited, you could have done that and been finished. You know what I mean? Like,
just like, I waited this long, right? So, in part about me going here, I had an opportunity to teach in Dubai, but again, I let family, talk me out of it. And this time, I was like, I'm going. I didn't tell them about it until the last minute. I was like, I'm
going. You're like, well, I'm going to Vegas. We have comments really rolling in, so let's hit some of the comments here. And while they come up, one of the things I want to say too about, positive attitude, I believe allows you to see opportunities that you would otherwise not see. You know what I mean? So I think that's the key too. And then you can take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah. Sharon Stroman. Hi, Sharon Stroman says life and death are in the power of the tongue. Yes, sis.
Yeah. So let me just stop. Can I just say something? This is a good girlfriend of mine. This is a girlfriend. Sharon has poured into me at times when professionally I did not feel at my optimal best.
Right.
And she has stood beside me, behind me. She has pulled me along. So I am thankful. I'm so glad that you made it on here, Sharon. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Sharon. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, that helps a lot. Like when you just have that one person that you can connect with, that you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lakia Milbourne says hello. Hello, Lakia. Is that Lakia? Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Tyrone Ricks is in the house. Ten of Life has tuned in. Hi, Tyrone. How are you?
As always.
He says, good evening, my Feel Good Talk family. Good evening. Tyrone is like an awesome supporter. He supports us. He supports everyone. He just really has an awesome heart, a heart to serve and to give to his community. So make sure you guys follow Tyrone Ricks and the 10 of Life. Love you too. Oh. Charles Brinkley says, I have self-positive talk all the time. I know you do.
I love exactly what I was thinking, but I wasn't going to say
it. Lakia Milbourne says, personal development helps with changing the mindset. It's true.
Especially if you aren't around people who are kind of, around people that are doing the same things all the time, like Angela is saying, that to be able to, and you guys know from watching this show that I love personal development. I love podcasts. I love books. I love, I was just driving from Miami and to here, and I was playing Think and Grow Rich on the, on the book audio thing, whatever, Audible. But because I believe that, and I always say this, there's enough technology around now that there is no reason why anyone cannot, who wants to, tap into some form of personal development for free and start changing your mindset. So
or just learn anything. Like there's like I make myself learn something new every week, whether I watch a documentary or I watch, someone who's having a TED Talk, because I want to learn something new and I want to keep my mind going. I have children, so I'm constantly investing myself in them. And if I don't take time to invest time in me, I can't help them. So it's really important Stephen Sheppelman. Hey, Stephen, how are you? Hello from PA. Thanks for tuning in. Charles Brakely says, people are comfortable with being comfortable. In order to be great or explore new things, you have to stay uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes. Uncomfortable is like my thing. I love this podcast, but I'm always super nervous because I know there are people looking at me. I can't see them, but they can see me.
Right.
And I don't know why that bugs me so much. And so I go through, but I continue to do it because it helps me to grow. It helps me to meet new people. People reach out to me so that I can help them and they can help me grow. And that's the only way that I can do this right now. And this is the only way that most people can do it. Otherwise, no one would know I live way out where I live right now.
Right.
Tyrone Wicks says, welcome to the Feel Good Talk family. Welcome. Facts, Izzy.
Angela.
William Bird says, it's so amazing when you have someone to share the ride. Yes.
True.
Yes. And it doesn't even have to be like a consistent person that's there like all the time, but just to know that they're there, you know, when you need them and that you are there for them when they need you. That's really important. Yeah.
But I also, I do though appreciate, and I think too, like I like doing things by myself as well, because I find too that could be either uncomfortable or B, I find like I soak things in a lot more because then I'm not worried about the other person and what they're thinking, you know, like really serious, you know, stuff. So I think it's great to have people to ride with and do things, and I agree. But at the same time, to Angela's earlier point, don't let that stop you.
Right.
Like, you want to do something, step out and do it, and you know, not what's the worst that can happen, but what's the best that can happen. Focus
what is
on
that quote? The quote that says, "Some journeys have to be taken alone. Some paths have to be walked alone." You know what I mean? It's just and. Before you kind of think like I don't know, we have that need as a human to want to be a part of a tribe or some type of like group, but it doesn't have to be like all the time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I found myself discovering, I thought that I was an extrovert.
Yeah.
But I'm really an introvert, extrovert. Is that how you say it?
Introverted. Yeah, I'm the same. Yep.
Look, I can turn it on and I can be, but when I'm done,
you're done.
I'm done. And I turn it off, and sometimes it's abrupt, and I know that it looks rude, but I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. I'm like, yeah, I just want to look. So, you know, y'all don't know, but I'm 6'2". So when I walk into a room, everyone is going to see me. And so if I'm not talkative, if I'm not on and happy, and, you know, people have said, oh, what's wrong with you? Are you upset? Are you mad? And I'm really not. I'm just like, I just really want to be like a 4'10" person who can just slide in.
Hashtag. No, you don't. That's me. Hashtag listen. My pants dragging on the ground. Yeah, I'm 4'11". You do not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You hush, Kendra. To just blend in. Just blend in with the crowd, and that never happens.
Yeah, I can understand that though. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really blend in. I just go in and they're like, oh my gosh, I never knew you that short. I've seen you on podcasts and you look tall, but you're really tiny. You're like short. So So I have a question. I have a few questions.
Okay.
I know that we know that you have been dealing with alopecia. And so for those who may not know what alopecia is, I'd like for you to explain that to everyone. And I also would like to know like when it developed for you.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't delve too deeply into the science of this disease, but it is an autoimmune disease. Alopecia is merely hair loss. And there's 3 different kinds of alopecia. I have centrifugal, that word, alopecia, which basically means I have scarring of the scalp. Okay. And so it really started at the very crown of my head. I had hair that would grow all the way around on the sides and the front and the back, but in the middle was when I started losing my hair. Yeah. And that started, I was still teaching, so that had to be around 2000. And what I initially thought it was was a bad perm, like the reaction for a bad perm. Because we were going out one night and I wanted my hair to be laid. And so I was at a girlfriend's house and she put a perm in my hair. Well, she needed super. My hair didn't need super. Y'all remember super perms?
Yeah, right.
And so she gave me a super perm, and a couple of weeks later, I started to notice the size of a dime balding at the top of my head. And I didn't think of anything about it, but I did have a girlfriend who was studying to be a dermatologist. I had her look at it, and she was like, yeah, you need some cortisone shots. So I started treating myself. We didn't diagnose it as alopecia. It eventually got worse. So I was wearing tracks, I was wearing weaves, you know, I had braids. And so I was having a lot of tension that was pulling on my hair. But what I didn't realize in the stage when it wasn't diagnosed, was that this autoimmune, that was the first indication of other medical issues that I was going to have in the future, all related to the autoimmune system. And so, you know, I shared with you how I lived unconsciously. So in that unconscious living, things happened to me. I want to make it clear, things happened to me. Life just didn't happen. Things were happening to me. That was the way that I was living life. And so if something did not go right, it was because it was happening to me. And so I just assumed that this was just my lot. Now, with alopecia, there isn't a cure. There are ways that you can navigate it, you know, wearing natural protective styles, wigs, head wraps, etc. And so that was the route that I just went. I just assumed, okay, Angela, you know, you got jacked up hair, and so that's just your lot. So I was wearing wigs, and I looked cute in the wigs because I saw hair as being an accessory. So I always had different hairstyles. So me not having hair right now doesn't bother me, because I actually think this is the best look.
You look beautiful.
Great. I know.
My son said, this is the best hairstyle, Mom. This is the best hairstyle. But you know what? Ironically, I was born bald. For the first year and a half of my life, I had no hair.
Wow.
So I came back full circle. I think that is very poetic. I came back full circle. So it wasn't until the breakup, the guy that I was dating, he one day he was like, take your wig off. I was like, I'm not doing that. He's like, take your wig off. And so I didn't. He pulled it off, and I was mortified because I was looking like buckwheat underneath there. And he was like, you should cut your hair. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I was like, who's going to marry me? You know, blah, 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 blah. We ended up breaking up. And then I think, like 2 months later, I cut my hair. Now, I didn't cut my hair because of him. I actually was really, really motivated by Black Panther. So, you know, Welcome to Wakanda. I thought that woman looked great. Then there was another movie that came out that had a bald-headed woman in it. And I was like, I'm going to cut my hair. So I woke up one morning. I did not have a Britney Spears moment. I just trimmed my hair to see if I could rock like a very close cut, and it didn't look great. So I called my girlfriend who had shaved in her hair very, very low. And I said, I need you to take me to your barber. So she did. She held my hand. And I shaved my head. And the people in the barbershop, they gave me so much love. The men in the barbershop gave me so much love in that moment. And they were like, not many women can do this.
No,
you know, my shoulders kind of shifted. I was feeling good. I was like, okay, you know, they were all short, so I wasn't interested in any of them, but it was okay. I was happy. I was getting some love from. And so for a whole week thereafter, I still wore a wig to work. This time I'm back in the classroom and I'm teaching. And so one day I called one of my male coworkers and I said, look, I'm running late. I'm coming to work without my wig. I said, so get everybody straight because I don't want to hear no lip. So the way you walk into my building is a long corridor. And so it's in an L shape. And I walked halfway down, and then I had to stop at the office. And my principal yelled over the PA system, oh my goodness, Ms. Morton, you look beautiful. And I bawled. And so I bawled from that. I was like, I get myself together. I got to get to class. So I leave out. I go to class, and when I turn the corner, he had all of our students out in the hallway, and they were clapping and cheering and welcome to Wakanda. And then I bawled again. And one of my students said, Miss Morton, if you have hair and you don't have hair, it doesn't make a difference. It's all about you being pretty on the inside.
Right.
And that's where I captured that pretty on the inside, because it was very much about me loving me internally first.
Right.
And it just radiates on the outside. So any makeup that I put on, any lashes I put on, earrings, clothing, whatever, it just accentuates the inner glow that I feel about myself. And so that's where Pretty Inside with Angela came from. That's my story with alopecia. I wear it as a crown now. Like,
right.
Well,
right.
It's funny.
Oh, that tears makes my eyes tear. I wear that as a crown.
When I saw you for the first time and coming across, your social media stuff, it like never even dawned on me.
Right, me either, right?
No, you sent your bio and I was like, oh, what? Because you're like so confident about, and not just confident, but just like very approachable. And you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, don't look over here and stuff like that. So I just assumed that's just, like you just one day was like, you know what, I'm just going to shave it all off, which you did. But you know what I mean? I didn't know it was related.
Yeah.
So that is like really.
I hadn't seen your story. I saw your pictures first.
Right.
And so when I saw your pictures, I was like, wow, she is gorgeous. And so I'm scrolling down because I didn't have a chance to read. And then finally, when Kendra sent me like your profile and everything, I was like, oh, she has alopecia. I would have never like known. And like she said, the confidence that you have, everything that you're speaking about is coming from the inside and it's just glowing on the outside. And you can see it. Yeah. And it's perfect.
And you're perfect. You got a good thick head, girl. You got a good head to rock that style. We have some comments, so let's hit some more comments here because they are rolling in.
Let's see. William Bird says, "Hey Kendra, aren't you in Florida? I'm in Jacksonville for a couple days."
Yes, I'm in O-Town. I was actually in Miami yesterday and today, but now I'm back home. So
I'm jealous. It's 40-some degrees here.
Girl,
says, you look amazing with the bald head. I love it. Doesn't she? You got to go to her Instagram page. She is fly. Stephen Shepleton says, God created perfection when he created females, hair or no hair. You are beautiful. Yes. I love that. Charles Brakely says, very exotic look. Not all women can do it. I know that's right. I did it, but my forehead started back here. I got some throwbacks. Maybe I'll throw them up tonight. I don't know, but I always had to turn to the side, so it kind of like
look, when you don't have hair, it's all about angles, right? Like I know how I need to pose.
Now I'm wondering like how far my head would go back because I got a nice head there. Charles Brakely said beauty comes from within. It's true. I mean, I've seen people that have been like drop dead and then they just open their mouth and I'm like, I know, right? No.
And that goes for the men too. Men that are so fine and then you're like, you're a freaking idiot.
I'm like, don't get Kendra started.
Yeah, don't get me started. Sorry.
So I have another question. Are you want to go next?
No, go ahead.
My question was, once you were diagnosed, what was like your initial reaction from like, I know that you explained that it kind of gradually happened and you were like, you thought it was from a bad perm. But once you were like diagnosed by a doctor and you realized that you were going to be going through this for the rest of your life, were you just like, how did you react?
I just went with it.
Yeah.
It didn't dawn on me. I have to reiterate again that things happen and I just dealt with them. I really didn't process them. I kind of like compartmentalized and kept moving. So I really did not embrace and name that I had alopecia until very later on in life, like in the last 5 years.
Oh, wow.
I did not talk about it. Yeah. I was like, I don't have no hair.
Yeah. Do you think that? Do you think is that because you didn't want to be defined by that, or is it just because you just didn't like process it, period? Like you kind of pushed it away?
I don't think that I was aware. I don't think that I had an awareness of self. I did not have an awareness of self. It was just like, okay, this is just it. And I also did not have a dependency on hair. Yeah. So I would have a long, very obvious weave. I would have short hair. I had blonde hair, blondish hair. Right. I had crochets. I had crochet braids. Like, so hair was just always an accessory. So it really didn't matter. The reason why I cut my hair was because I got tired of putting on a wig to just run out to my car because I was looking like buckwheat. I was like, I need to be cute all the time. And I know that sounds a little bit vain, but I was like, I'm cute with my hair on, but I didn't always want that wig on.
I know.
And so I needed to change. And if I wanted to go to my car, I had to put the wig on, and somebody knocked on the door. I was running around with the wig. And at that time, my nieces were living with me, and they would take my wig and run. I'm like,
no.
Listen, yeah.
So there wasn't a dependency on hair. But what I will say, though, my lack of awareness or embracing that condition speaks to the disconnect that I had with myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I didn't want to acknowledge or deal with the things, the very personal things that were immediately happening to me.
Right.
Yeah. And so now I'm living a more, when people say be focused, be woke, be woke.
Yeah,
well, I'm woke about Angela. Right. And so I'm naming the things that I hid. I'm naming the things that caused me embarrassment or hurt or shame. Right. And they may not have been, other people may not have been thinking about it, but I surely was thinking about it.
Right.
And I thought it was a big label across my head that everybody saw or everybody knew. And what I'm realizing is that, I'm great, I'm wonderful, but everybody's not thinking about me. Angela, you are not that important that people are thinking about you
but we
all
think
the
that.
time.
Right.
Like, oh, really? So, yeah.
That is true. I'll have to read this. And it's so funny how this is all coming in like full circle. So I did a meditation this morning, and I had this quote that came to me like in the meditation. And then I completely fell asleep, woke back up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't remember it. But then I remembered it and I wrote it down, and I'll post it later. But I think it's so appropriate for what we're talking about. And my quote is, I am many things, but they are not me. ... I am. And it just, it gives me chills just to like read it now, because we put in our head that we're this, we're that. We're not worthy if we don't have hair, or we're not this if we don't have that. But we are very, very worthy and very, very talented and very beautiful and very smart. And so that's why I thought about I am these things, just like you said.
Right.
I am. And if we speak that into existence, then that's what we are. So we have to really be careful and be vigilant about what we say, listen to, who we talk to, what our circles are, because we have to keep that I am in motion so that we can tell people what they are and what they can be in the world positively. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's one of the focuses of, so I have a lash or beauty business that I'm in. And I joined it because as a bald woman, I need to still feel pretty. I need to still feel feminine, right? And so there are things that I would do outwardly. So I'm known for my earrings. I like big earrings. I like big lashes or lashes. And I like to have my eyebrows done. So eyebrows frame the face, right? The lashes just kind of say, hello, I am a ma'am and not a mister. And so while I started this business for me to get the discount or the commission off of getting lashes, because I wanted so many lashes, I was like, I might as well earn some dollars off of it. What I'm finding is that I am a vehicle, or I have a vehicle, or my business is a vehicle for others to grow and develop. internally into whatever it is that they want to become. And I am just a conduit. I'm helping others people. I try to share my story. I'm getting more comfortable in sharing it without crying because I have the ugly cry and I don't like to do that. So, but it amazes me. Like, so when Kendra reached out to me, I was like, oh my goodness, she was watching me. She paid attention. She was listening. She saw value. I want to be seen as added value.
Yes.
Not to add value to my pocket per se, but it really warms my heart when I see other women who do things like, oh, I put these lashes on and I feel so good. That makes me happy because I think that every woman, be it bald woman or, a regular woman with hair, everyone wants to feel pretty and whole.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone wants to feel lovable, beautiful, right? They want to feel good about themselves. And if I can help people do that, other women do that, then, I feel like I'm earning, a little feather in my wing to heaven.
Right. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I think that before we go to commercial break, I have a few more questions, but I know that we had talked about, your family and friends and support and things like that during that time. And I know you have your girlfriend that supported you. Who were other people that supported you and gave you strength during that time?
Yes, they were. I mean, my friends, let me tell you, they were my cheerleaders and have always been my cheerleaders.
That's good.
In that respect, right?
Yeah.
I have not gotten any hate. Now, people was initially they were like, "Ooh, are you sick?"
Yeah, right.
So that's a misnomer. Bald head
Right.
does not always mean cancer.
Right.
Right? It does not always mean cancer. Alopecia is not a death threat.
Right.
But no, they celebrated me. And listen, strangers celebrated me. Like, strangers got me geeked. I mean, they were making me feel, sis, I wish I could cut my hair. Sis, I'm still holding on to this wig. I can't do what you do. Girl, you look good, like for women and for men. So I have received nothing but support. Now, I will say my mother was a little concerned. She was like, please don't cut your hair. But she's an older woman, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She comes from a certain age. But now, when my son got married, I asked his wife, I said, do you want me to put some hair on? Because, it's their pictures. I want them to feel comfortable.
Right.
Pictures. They were like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
I remember on your page, and I think you were traveling somewhere, and it was another lady who was a stranger who was also bald, and she came up to you. Can you tell that? Because that was like
the stranger she wasn't bald. Are you talking about the one who said you're so pretty to be bald?
Oh no, I ain't talking about that one.
Oh, okay.
You need to be checked, but
this is my 50th. Oh yeah. So this is when I traveled to Mexico for my 50th birthday.
Yeah.
And I ain't had no hair on. And there was another young lady that I befriended. She walked up to me and she lifted up her hat and she said, sis, because of you, I'm gonna go bald this whole weekend.
Oh, wow.
And that touched me. I was like, yeah. So whenever I saw her, I would, wave and we would do the whole little wink.
Right.
But yeah, so that touched me that, she felt inspired by me to take off her hat. And actually, or her wig. She had some nice little wigs because I saw them. Yeah. But she took them off to just be free. And, and you would think that would be the easiest thing to do. But you are always worried about what is someone going to say.
Yeah.
It is women.
It's free. I think I was probably about 18 and I went and I shaved my hair just like yours. And I've always had really long hair and it was super long and I just got tired of it. I was like, dude, I'm tired of we had the salt and pepper hairdos back in the day. It was like up this way, down that way. So anyway, I went to this guy named Kazoo. Shout out to Kazoo in Philly if he's still there. And he was like, sis, you gonna cut all your hair off? I said, I'm tired of it because I'm tired of it was holding me back. I had to do it. I had to curl it. I had to flat iron. I had to wear a wrap. I had to wear a scarf on top of the wrap. I had to sleep pretty. And they just shaved it all off. Yeah. I wore a hoodie the whole ride from Philly to my house. And when I got in the house, I said, Mama. She said, what? I said, shoo.
Gave your mom a heart attack.
I know. Shoot. They're just used to me. Shock factor. It was like, but I felt so free, like being able to just get up and go and not having this thing attached to me. You know what I mean? And providing beauty and people thinking it was so beautiful and this and the other. I just felt so. I love your story. I absolutely love your story.
Thank you.
But let's roll the commercial and then come back, and we have some more comments that we need to catch up on.
Sweet.
Okay.
I miss my skeleton already.
Say that. I was like, man, I missed the other commercial.
I missed the
we had like a Halloween commercial, and it was a skeleton dancing to Michael Jackson Thriller.
Yes.
And it was like practically the whole song, but doing all the moves and everything. And honestly, at first I was like, I don't like this. This is too long, because I have ADD. I'm like, not really, but I'm like, I'm ready to go. But I fell in love with that commercial, and now, yeah,
she was dancing in the background.
I know. And now we have this commercial, which is still good. But I will let Izzy do your thing with the commercial.
Yeah, that's the A game, and it is a supplement that's for men. And if you're interested, be sure to reach out to Charles Brakely. He says that they're eventually going to come out with this supplement that is for women as well. So since Kendra sold out on the last show and didn't do this, I'm going to do it for you,
Chuck. 3 samples left. Y'all know what to do.
So be sure to email him so you can get your sample and give it a try.
Yeah. Let's hit some comments.
Yes. Charles Brakely says, you never know who's watching. It's true.
So true.
Yeah. Sharon Stroman says, Angela got me straight with the lashes. She was very patient with me. I want to try. I'm so afraid I'm going to blind myself.
Look, so Sharon was like that too. She was like, I wear glasses. I can't put this on. I can't dry the lashes on.
Yeah.
She is a repeat customer. I got her straight. I got you.
Yeah. So bad.
And they're beautiful lashes. They're not like cheap Halloween plastic looking lashes.
No, they're very high quality, very durable. Nice. You get up to at least 30 uses depending upon how you care for them.
Wow, they are gorgeous. Charles Brakely says, you know who your true friends are, especially when they are there for you when you're going through the tough times and not just there for the good times.
Amen to that.
It's the truth. Charles Brakely says, I see y'all.
Yeah, we have jokes.
I can't. I promise every show I will do that. Kendra kind of messed up last week. I was waiting for her to do it. And then when she said, I'm not going to do it, I was like, what?
I was trying to be mature for once.
We appreciate you coming on. Did you have other questions?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say real quick, because I wrote down some things that I want to make sure that the audience kind of takes away from our conversation.
Yes.
And so, one of the things, so we talked about, really what are the 5 things, and you don't have to think about 5 things, but at least, if someone were to ask you who you are, outside of labels, then, if you can answer those things, then I think that is a good opportunity to do some self-reflection, some self-discovery, have some quiet time. I think that's where you kind of might want to pull back away from all the activities and the people and the noise and discover who you are. And then the giving back, because you talked about, Angela, that, when you started kind of volunteering and giving back, that kind of like helped you as well, not to notice or not to kind of say, oh, my problems are this huge when you see other people's problems. And so I think, we underestimate volunteering and giving back when we feel like, oh, we don't have this or we don't have that, but other people are in much worse shape. And sometimes they're going through worse things with more grace and more just, better, I guess, than what we're going through our smaller things with. And then doing something different, because you talked about taking risk and, the things that you were doing. Did you say you jumped out of airplane? No. Did I just make that up?
What?
Did you say you jumped out of an airplane, or did I just make that up?
Oh, yeah, that was on my 42nd birthday.
Yeah. So, because doing those different things, I think, helps you to develop self-confidence, and that you can achieve, great things. So those are some of the things that I wanted to just make sure that the audience takes away from your story, because you have a lot of good nuggets, obviously, just from your radiance and your, the way you're holding yourself and stuff. Like, these are things that work, so we say success leaves clues. So follow the clues.
Yes. And before I read this off, is there we usually ask if you would leave our community with a quote or something that's dear to your heart, that you would like to speak of to our community. It could be anything that's on your heart and mind.
So I'm having a hard time hearing you. You said, is there a quote?
It could be a quote, or it could be something that's on your heart that you'd like to leave with our community.
Well, this is what I always end my lives. Be kind to one another, for you just never know who might need a kind gesture, a warm smile, or excuse me. I say this all the time. I'm going to try it again. This is the nerves. Be kind to one another, for you never know who might need that warm smile, that kind word, or that friendly gesture. Yeah. And I just believe that if we do that, if we're kind to one another, that means we're granting grace.
Yes.
Then we are patient with other people, and we are forgiving, and then we're just putting out good energy. And I just think that that's what life should be about.
Yeah. It was super awesome having you on here. Would you like to bless us with where everyone can find you on social media?
Yes. So I do have a pretty Inside with Angela page. It's not fully developed yet. So just follow me on my personal page, Angela Nicole, or you can find me by doing hashtag Pretty and Lashed.
Nice. And I'll make sure I put all that information in the comments. And of course, if you want to connect with us, you can connect with us on LinkedIn at Feel Good Talk, Facebook at Feel Good Talk, YouTube at FGT, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. We're also on Instagram at feel.goodtalk. And you can email us at feelgoodtalk113@gmail.com. And our website is www.feelgoodtalk.net. We have merch on that website. If you purchase merch, be sure to take a picture and tag us in it. Yeah. And thank you so much for coming on and just blessing us with your presence and with your information and with your journey. Once you're part of the Feel Good Talk family, you're always a part of the Feel Good Talk family.
All right, man.
Yes. So if you ever have any efforts or anything that you want to come on, talk about, just reach out and put you on.
For sure. Go ahead. You want to do the heart, because I have to follow you. There we go. I know.
One hand.
Doing our heart. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in.